Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We're back today. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon. I'm here in Breckenridge, Colorado, breathing it in, if you will, though they didn't play that last night. Ready for Snarky Puppy tonight, but I'm excited here to talk about last night's Goose show with you, Neil. How are you, Neil?
I'm doing all right. I'm in Boston, which is where I live.
In a bathroom.
I am not, flying into Breck for the weekend like others.
Well, I'm not flying into Breck for the weekend.
Fancy people just flying into Breck. Soaking wet because it's raining here, just like it is in New York. And last night was awesome because I listened to it this morning when I woke up. I did not stay awake for that, and I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'd just like to say I'm not flying into Breck for the weekend. I'm just a week early for Goose at Red Rocks. Let's call it that.
Have you had a $20 smoothie yet?
I have not. Vehicle Ryan and Shower Neil. Big pot on tap.
Always
it's a good omen when
it's a
we're
big day.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm excited about today. I'm excited to talk about the show. I'm excited to have our guests.
We've got some really fun guests today. One of whom was just on the pod a few days ago, but he was in an airport and, in quite a state after a festival, and I hadn't heard a note of the show. So, we did our best there. Go check out the Cascade Equinox recap. It's really great. But he's returning today along with another very special guest. We've got Cam and we've got Connor.
Hey,
hello, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Jazz hands. Hi, Ryan.
Thank you.
Hey, Neil.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Neil.
We're excited to have you here. Connor was not at the show last night, but Connor brings a very there you go. And Connor brings a very, very valuable niche insight to the show recap. And he and Cam just have a certain je ne sais quoi in the banter that we couldn't pass up the opportunity to have the two of you at the same time.
Thank you so much. We can't wait to talk over you this whole episode.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I talk over other people, so it's only fair.
I'm going to say, please return the favor to Ryan for me. Just do it all show.
Ryan, very Jeff Arevalo of you to pod from a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that for best show ever. That's a good episode. Everyone should go check out.
Good show.
Anyway, let's dive in here. Cam, you were at the show last night, little hometown venture for you here. What was your pre-show vibe like? What was it like getting in? Where were you?
So the Will Turn is located downtown. My girlfriend Jess and I live in Silver Lake. It's like 15 minutes away. Got to just hang out at home until like right before the show. Nice. It was Jess's first show, and so she was a little anxious and excited. She's been like ripping through all the Goose shows that I go to, so she was very excited to go. And so it's just like pre-show jitters, but that building is beautiful. It's like Art Deco inside. It's like super nice. The line moved super quick, and next thing we knew, the show started. It was like we rolled up like right at showtime. It was awesome.
Seamless.
Amazing. That's excellent. Connor, what about you? You stayed up burning the midnight oil last night.
Burning the 11 p.m. Ornal. I've been going through some stuff personally, and I actually listened to a couple Goose songs just to get in it, and then as soon as you hear a couple from like Radio City, I was just like, well, I guess I'm staying up for the entire show because it's gonna be sick. It was beautiful.
Fair enough. Normally that's me. Neil, how was your sleep last night?
I slept great. Woke up real early this morning.
Do you sleep on your chest or on your back? Are you more of a side sleeper?
So this is the first tour I've really done this. I'm finally growing up, becoming an adult these days. And so I'm not staying awake till 3 a.m. listening to Goose shows like I did last year when they were on the West Coast. So I'm going to bed and I'm waking up early and listening to the show. And let me tell you, at least I feel good when I'm doing the pods now because last year, middle of the day, 2022, felt like
you
shit.
Can feel good.
We would like to put on the record that Vickers was up later than both Neil and I last night.
That's true.
I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Rock and roll.
Vickers, I've never met you, but
he just woke up like a Spitfire this morning too, just talking shit at like 5:30. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Ryan Molnar, VA boy. I've never met him. Can't wait to meet you at Goosemas.
There'll be a lot of people at Goosemas. Well, let's dive into this show here. let's get started. I was excited to listen to it this morning.
We already did the diving
hear
bit.
From you.
We're
diving in again. There's a lot of diving to be done here, Connor.
I can't dive any deeper.
I mean, we can. We haven't even.
I've already pulled over. I can't pull over any further. Can't.
We told Ryan we were going to keep this brief, and we haven't even talked about a song yet. So we gotta get to Ryan. I'm so sorry.
We're not known for brevity on this podcast. So let's dive into the show here. Cam, start us off. Animal, Silver Rising, Turbulence in the Night Rays, Blood Buzz.
It's like 4 songs, dude.
4 songs.
It is.
Start us off.
It is 4 songs. Silver Rising is the.
I was just going to say, while I have the Goose audience, it's a workout song. It's not a dominoes. The bit's over. It's all about working your abdominals. These guys are trying to keep you healthy. You're an animal. You got to be a healthy animal.
Gotta move your body.
Move your body. It's ephemeral.
LA was moving their body. It is ephemeral ultimately, and LA was moving their body last night. Such a nice opener. You got to know that Silver Rising is the only song in this show that I have seen before. So the whole show was just like, yes, yes, yes. Especially for the Turbulence in the Night Rays, and then I personally felt that was a good one. I don't know if anyone saw my story or a video that I posted on Twitter, but they had the speakers shaking in the building. Like the upstairs balcony was like jumping up and down and had the speakers shaking. The Turbulence was exceptional, I thought.
Sorry.
And seeing Blood Buzz pop up, little West Coast Showhio action. I guess that means California is the Showhio of the West Coast.
Yeah, they're going to play California Magic in Cincinnati, calling it now.
Yeah, I don't think it is actually the Ohio of the West Coast. That would be somewhere else. But Neil, you got any thoughts on these first 4?
First 4. Yeah, man, you get 14 minutes of Animal to start a show, so you don't get that every day. This isn't California Magic. They didn't open with Turb or like Mr. Action, which I really thought they were going to. So yeah, that's really cool. And then so you get the Turbulence.
Turb was due, man. Turb was due.
I mean, like who the hell knows what they're going to play these days? I have no idea. It's some of this stuff is out of control. Like the way that Turbulence hadn't been played in 8 shows, and then all of a sudden here it is again. And then
who's adding numbers onto gaps now?
Shut up with your analysis. Just enjoy
it was
the
8
tunes.
For the record. It was 8 shows by my math. So
by your math. Well, so it was 7. In any case, long time because the last time they were out on the West Coast, I feel like they played it like every second show. Yeah. In any case,
Cam, were the songs good? Did you have a good
say
time?
They were frigging sweet, I would call them.
Frigging sweet.
Yeah.
I would agree. Good. Like Lobos, Ohio, friggin' sweet. Like killer cover.
Awesome.
Like love the song long before Goose played it. And love it even more better. Now that Goose is playing it. Killer.
Yeah. It's a personal.
It's a great way to start a set. I mean, that's like not a bad 4-pack of songs.
Cam, we have a question from the chat. Joel.
Oh man, I don't want to answer this one.
Friend of the pod. Is that the show? Okay, you can plead the 5th. But we have a question of whether Joel was falling asleep at the show last night.
I'm gonna go ahead and divert this question to Laminated Lists online. If anyone's on Twitter following Laminated Lists, maybe request a video from her of maybe Joel potentially looking like he's sleeping during some part of the show. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you whether it happened or not.
Cam, I just want to say, when I was in 11th grade, I got yelled at by my history teacher, Paul Feekins, for falling asleep during an assembly where they were playing beautiful music, and I was just getting so deep into it. So maybe Joel was just that deep.
Allegedly. Exactly. There are allegations here. We may have to have Joel back on the pod to answer these allegations. Who knows? Stay tuned for the
sensory deprivation.
Anyway, let's
he was meditating.
Let's continue on to what I would like to say is the meat of the first set here.
They played meat.
Yeah, they covered meat.
That was a Ray-Below in March.
I know. I was there. I was not.
We've got Redbird and Tumble here. Excellent pairing to close out the set. Pretty felt like a pretty short gap for Tumble coming back already. But I think Redbird was pretty due, despite the fact that I did not have it on my picks, and not at all.
It's time for a bird to fly. When it's time for a bird to fly. Sorry.
Straight burden, baby. Always a win. We had Jive Goose on the setlist thread last night, making his return to Twitter. Sorry if anyone missed out on that one night only. Thank you, Connor.
I fucked up and went to the show. I should have been on
Twitter.
Twitter.
I know. You see, the last night was the night to be couch touring. Like you missed out on the Jive Goose on Twitter, but it was good.
Classic.
These are two great jams. Redbird going, full bliss mode like it's been doing
full
lately
bliss.
Again.
Oh,
and Tumble. We had some clams in this Tumble. There was some serious clam action happening here. Really, really great jam. But Cam, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Redbird and Tumble to close that set here.
I texted you guys during Redbird and I said you can feel good about Redbird. This was a very blissful, not to make the direct comparison again and again, but it was a very Harry Hood like bird, and I felt great about it. Connor and I had been texting earlier in the day, just going through some stuff. Sometimes you need to tumble in the middle of your day. And Connor texted me and said, just so you know, I'm, walking it off to a tumble right now, and I'm feeling better. And I said, thank you for cementing the tumble that I will ultimately get tonight and probably bawl my eyes out to. And guess what happened?
Bawl your eyes out.
Yeah.
Aww.
Ryan, I don't call these songs on Fantasy Goose. I just call them with my heart. Just want to let you know.
Fair enough. You should start playing. We'll see it. The heart versus the spreadsheet. that would be the real test.
My heart will win every time.
Neil, what do you got on Redbird and Tumble here?
This is pretty awesome stuff. If you're at the show, I'm sure you're liking this. This Redbird is very, very, very good. Killer. I listened to it today, and so I woke up this morning. My first mistake was reading what other people said about the show. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just listened and not talked to anybody or read anything, because I had expectations. And then I listened
people
to it,
are dumb.
Like, this is really, really good. It's really, really good. And then I listened to the Tumble, and I was like, holy shit, this is really, really good too. I mean, that Tumble's good. It's got some high energy jamming. It's got some dissonance in it, and gets weird and angular, and I don't know. It's not a typical Tumble. It's 17 minutes. So it's on the shorter side.
It's in the Peach Tumble realm.
It's in the Peach Tumble realm. It kind of felt like I did, when I listened to Peach Tumble.
I thought they played in LA last night.
But Peach 22 Tumble, I really love it, and people like to give me a hard time for loving it. But this one kind of fits in.
Is it Ryan Storm? Because he told me that one of my favorite shows was mediocre this past year.
Well, there are many people, but yeah,
it definitely sounds like
bully. He's a bully.
We have a comment from the chat, friend of the pod, Jesse. Can we talk about how the set lists need a shakeup? Seems like we're in a heavy rotation tour. I'm curious what you guys think of this. I think that they're doing a really good job of playing
whatever the fuck they want
in the catalog. Also that, and I feel like a shakeup would just involve more covers. But I think that all the originals are being pretty well rotated, and things are actually on longer gaps than we've seen. Like Thatch has had 5 shows, multiple times this tour. We just mentioned Turbulence, 8 shows, which is more than usual. But yeah,
maybe they're just digging tunes and they're ripping into them. And there's what? This song is sick. Man. Tunes, man, tunes.
Yeah. Neil, what are your thoughts on the rotation?
Well, I was just trying to pull some data on that really quick. I don't actually agree with this heavy rotation thing. If you look at the number of songs that they've already played this tour, they've done almost the whole catalog outside of the ultra rare tunes. And you're getting rarer stuff too. Last night, jumping ahead a little bit, but you get this Old C, and that was the first time it had been played on this tour. So I don't know if I agree with heavy rotation right now. You get, we mentioned it already, Turbulence for the first time in 7 shows. You get, the maximum amount any show has been played or any song has been played on this tour is 3, and there's a handful that have been played 3 times. There are
how many venues in states were played for the first time? So of course they're going to give them the heaters.
Yeah, also true.
And guess what? They're all heaters.
Yeah.
I would like to answer this allegation that I only like discordant and dark jams that are keyboards focused. I absolutely adore 2 Guitar Goose. I don't know why people are making this allegation about me. The DC Wisteria does not have keyboards in it. I'm just saying. Just putting that out there. Cam, what was the set break vibe last night? How are you feeling in between? Expectations for set 2? What, see any people? What was going on?
So it was just me and Jess there, but I ran into a bunch of friends from Twitter and Instagram who I hadn't met before yet. And then, I'm not a poster guy, but after that first set, I was like, it's a special show. I'm there with my girlfriend for the first show. We're in our hometown. We're right around the corner from the house. I'm buying the poster. What's up, Naveed? Had to get in line and go grab a shirt and a poster and be that guy last night. I'm never that guy.
Are you that guy today who's wearing a Goose shirt to the next Goose show?
Yeah.
I was at the show last night. I bought a shirt.
Lutheran was pretty good. We'll see what they do.
Shout
out
Naveed. I was gonna say, I feel like I'm in the room for a Cam Hurt video, like being prepared right now with you doing the like. Yeah, I was at the show. Like,
yeah, the show.
That's how they go.
See you every.
Yeah. All right. I do feel bad about not bringing this up earlier. And it is true. This is the best Goose show of all time.
Yeah, it is.
What?
I think.
You know what?
It's pretty perfect.
No, it's not because I was there and it was last night, and there hasn't been another show since. It's the best Goose show of all time.
All right,
like from a mathematical, from like an educational standpoint.
Right. Just like you all heard it here earlier in the week, Cascade Equinox was the best show of all time. You're hearing it here today that the Wiltern was the best show of all time, and you won't be on tomorrow, but I'm sure you will have a new best show of all time by this time tomorrow.
Can I say something about Cascade Equinox before we move ahead?
Sure.
So I listened to it.
Talk about the music.
I listened to it yesterday, like in full. I'd given it like a distracted listen because I wasn't doing the pod because I wasn't on that day. But I listened to it in full yesterday. That show is really, really good. I mean, so like if you leave that saying like that was the best Goose show ever, like I'm not going to blame you. I mean, it could have used more time, but
a certain old man might.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Thank you, Neil.
All right. Well, let's get into set 2 here. Let's start off with Empress Wisteria Hollywood Nights. Before we talk about the music, big shout out to good friend of the pod, Haps, who looked at where they were playing and put Hollywood Nights for 8 points last night, which was a great call. Audible roar from the crowd on the soundboard, which was cool to hear this morning. But Cam, Empress Wisteria Hollywood Nights, how are you feeling?
Empress is my favorite Goose song. After that, I'm like, they can truly do whatever after that, and they didn't just do whatever. It was a fantastic second set. The Wisteria Lane is like the one thing I kind of called going into the night. I was like, we're due for the Wisteria tonight, and I was like, it would be a little on the nose, but pretty awesome if they played Hollywood Nights. And I think I like on the nose because I also cried to that. I also cried to that as well. So I'm a Midwestern boy on my own.
Yeah, you are.
In these Hollywood Nights. So yeah, I was loving it.
I put my pants on the same way that you guys do.
One leg at a time.
One leg at a time. Ryan, would you like to tell your followers and fans how I fucking called it on that Empress?
Well, so Connor fucking called it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
That's all I say.
Connor did call the Empress second set open. Also,
while I have everyone here, Trevor Weeks could take on the Empress by himself. That guy, he is so incredible, and he just starts that, and then everyone else. I had this image as a drama teacher that they're all tied up in the dungeon, and then they slowly but surely break out of their shackles and then rip, and it's sick. But Trevor could have done it by himself, but he doesn't have to because we got the love and rhythm. All right, I'll stop. You can take the.
That was great. That was a good mic drop. I really like this Empress. We've been seeing this theme. The arrow from Cascade Equinox. We had the Lee from Montana. Ryman Rosewood. You get these glimpses of really dark and like weird jamming for a little bit of time before they kind of pull us back into the song proper. So there was a little bit of that in this Empress last night, but another solid version to open the set. Wisteria, I feel like, was probably the weak point of this set. It's pairing with Hollywood Nights is amazing, but my main thing with Wisteria is Ben pivots into the Hollywood Nights drum beat like 10 minutes into Wisteria, and while they didn't make the segue for another like 5 minutes, I was just thinking like, okay, like I I knew, I know what's coming here. And I feel like, they were ready to bail on the jam. They were more focused on the segue than they were on the Wisteria here. I'm talking personally.
Yeah, I know you were coming. It was great. I mean, the song. It was.
I felt like they did the same thing with Kylie Minogue. Speaking of Cascade Equinox, they load that cover up for a long time. That one, I was a little like, this is clearly about to be a cover, and I don't know what this is going to be. Last night, like you said, within 10. Okay.
So Cam, are you calling?
I told you that in confidence.
Cam, are you calling a foreplay long time for tomorrow night? I don't know if they play tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I don't think they're going to do anything tomorrow night because they don't have a show. But tonight,
privately,
I do feel like
they do have a show tomorrow night. Cam, it's a festival.
Ohana means family.
They're going to do California Magic with Eddie Vedder. It's going to be something. Just get ready.
Yeah, they're going to do the entire Into the Wild soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Cam, you were talking about Hollywood Nights.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the second they get into that drum, like you know that they're about to do this Hollywood Nights. I turned to Jess immediately and I said, no way. And also, my little brother and I love that song, kind of ironically, but it's now like we're now like past ironically. We love Hollywood Nights, and we'll throw it on like post show, like the Bob Seger Hollywood Nights, any post show. And so I woke up to a text from him that just said, and I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this podcast, but it did say, "Fuck you, Cam," because I think specifically because of the Hollywood Nights. Yeah,
reasonable.
I would just like to say that if Ricky Tiki Tembo ever said, "Was a little too tall, could use a few pounds," I would just cry right on the spot.
Thank you. Neil, you got any thoughts on this second set here?
I have no idea what to say after that.
This spot is going exactly as I expected it to go. I just have to say that. Like this is meeting my expectations here.
Oh man. Well, yeah. So you get 20 minutes of Empress to open the set, killer, and then you get Wisteria, and so you said it was like the low point of the set. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I mean, you can say that. I suppose you're right, but like, it still was awesome. It's Wisteria.
Yeah.
And some folks got it. That were chasing it for a while, right? I think. Did Adam go to their show last night?
He did.
Yeah. So Adam got it. Cam got it.
His Wisteria.
Yeah, it's hard to catch a Wisteria these days. So like any 13 minutes of Wisteria is still fine, and then you go right into Hollywood Nights. That's killer. I don't know, man.
Was Joel really standing behind Cam? I don't know. It could have been Cam doing a Joel impression. We may never know. Like,
there's a guy that looked so much like Joel who was so asleep, meditating. He was meditating.
Joel's a really good guy.
He looked just like his brother, man.
I've heard that he's old. Some people say that he's old. I'm not going to name any names, but it might be some guys in his band. So you just fall asleep.
Ryan.
What? don't throw me under the bus here. All
Ryan,
right,
what sign are you, Ryan? Are you an Aries?
Luckily,
coming.
Yeah. Luckily, this is not an astrology podcast, and we have more show to talk about. We've got This Old Sea, we've got Thatch, and we've got Magic Carpet Ride. Cam, congratulations on getting Thatch for the first time. What was that like for you?
It went down. I was loving it. And it felt like a very regular Thatch. It felt like we were just going to get a Thatch to end the show. I feel like there's some point in this jam. I listened back to the first set this morning. I feel like there's a part in this jam where we just kind of take a turn and it's an exceptional Thatch. And then we're going to jam it out for 24 minutes.
It's a little bit frigged.
It was a little bit frigged. The rung came loose. And I know we're jumping ahead to the encore. We didn't say anything about the encore yet. Someone showed me the set list from last night. They got a little set list as they walked out. The Grateful Goose and Gizzards and Biscuits guy. His name's Brett. Good guy.
Nice guy.
He got the set list. They were supposed to do SOS for the encore. Magic Carpet Ride.
Parcels.
I will take it. I will absolutely take a third cover for sure.
Got it. I think this Thatch is really interesting. First of all, 2023 is not the year of This Old Sea. We're getting it a bunch, no jams. Sad to see, though this song is the best. But this Thatch, Really, really unique Thatch to me. It slows down. It gets into this bright space that, a lot of Thatches keep this kind of momentum throughout. Very propulsive, very aggressive stuff happening, even if it gets to 25 minutes or whatever. And this one was, nice and mellow. And so I thought it was a cool departure from the norm with Thatch, and shows that, they're not just going to keep riding this wave of super amazing aggressive Thatches. They're going to keep trying to do new shit with it, which is really cool. Neil, what are your thoughts on the end of this show here?
Well, I just want to talk about the set as a whole. So you have this set of music bookended on either end, 20 minutes of, some of their best songs on either end of it, right? And not just kind of a thoughtless 20 minutes. There's actual good jamming that's going on in this. And then in the middle of the sandwich, you get Wisteria Lane, Hollywood Nights cover, and one of their best ballads, if not their best ballad. I mean, how does it get better than that? I just that's a crazy set. That is amazing music right there. So yeah, nothing much to say about the Thatch because I haven't really listened to it a whole ton, but it had a different feel to it. But you got 20 plus minutes of Thatch. Anytime there's a 20 plus minute Thatch, it fucks. That's a guarantee, right? And this one's not a throwaway version. Are we at the point now where we're going to start talking about 20 plus minute Thatches like they're throwaway versions? I saw you shake your head.
Absolutely not.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely not.
I feel like some people were doing that on Twitter last night. I disagree with them strongly.
People are dumb.
Yeah. Well, whoever those people are, I'm sure today dawned and they're not on Twitter anymore. So
that's right.
Gosh. This is all done. And then, Magic Carpet Ride closer. This is my opportunity to talk about Max Creek. Every time they play Magic Carpet Ride, I talk about Max Creek. I grew up in Connecticut. If you don't know who Max Creek is, they were all we had for a really long time in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they used to play Magic Carpet Ride all the time. So when Goose does it, I love it.
Yeah, you're a big NRBQ guy?
Not a big NRBQ guy. I have no idea. I mean, aside from Hojo, I have no idea anything about their music. That one song. That's it. That's all I know.
You got something to dive into. That's nice.
Right. Right after the pod, I'm diving into the catalog. Yeah.
NRBQ, baby.
Start the
it's gonna be Neil's
podcast.
next spoon.
Yeah.
Well, that about covers last night's show for us. Anything to add, Connor, Cam, before we wrap up?
All Goose rips, and stop being so damn critical of them, Ryan, because every song is someone's favorite song.
It's true.
And their favorite moment. And I love you.
Thank you.
But
Thank
I'm
you.
just
I love
a teacher.
You. Thank you. Thank you for the positivity here on today's pod, Connor.
Every song is someone's favorite song.
It's true.
Somewhere two
out
of
there,
my favorite moments.
Song is Life on the Shelf. Yes, Cam. Sorry.
Two of my favorite moments from last night is immediately after the show is over, Jeff texted me and said, "Was that good?" And I texted back,
classic.
Ha 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 ha, like a billion ha. Of course, what? Of course it was good. And my favorite moment of the night, without a doubt, was coming back to beat Jeff in darts. He had a very big lead. I let him have a little lead. It was pretty cute, and then I just buried his ass. And I would be remiss if that wasn't on the podcast forever. I need that recorded. And
got it. It's on the record. I'll put that in the show notes. After the show, Cam beat Jeb.
You're gonna get fucked in the chains. Jeff is gonna bang your chains so hard.
I'm screwed for tonight now.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cam, have a great time in Santa Barbara tonight. Hope it's the best show ever.
Probably will be.
There. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the worst episode of Best Show.
Thanks for having me.
Out there. And this has been quite the eventful pod. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, to recap tonight's show in Santa Barbara. Neil will be on Setlist Thread tonight. Lack of stream because of the venue rules, unfortunately. But if we don't get a fan stream, Neil will have the set list coming in from somewhere, and so we will know what they're playing. Thank you so much, Neil. Really appreciate you covering that while I'm at Snarky
Sure should hope so, and that was news to me, but awesome. I got it. Sweet.
All right, well, everybody.
If I knew the songs, I'd do it. I don't know that I didn't know Into the Mist, and so I'm on the bench. I'm backup.
Cam's the backup.
So
Cam's the backup. Well, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your Friday night, and we'll be back here tomorrow for another episode of Day After Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Connor and Cam, for joining us.
Thank you guys for doing this. This is sick.
Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Sorry,
See you next time.
I ruined your